Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 834, Hockey Hookups and NFL Breakups. Hello, Big Chillians. Welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as always with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going? How was Thanksgiving? Little break?
Yeah, it was good. Good Thanksgiving dinner. Nice weekend of sport. So, yeah, overall, nice. I mean, I'm still recovering from my flu or COVID or whatever it is that I had. So, I still got a cough. My voice probably doesn't sound 100%. And to be honest with you, I feel fine during the day, but the cough at night, it's just a killer.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about this like a few episodes ago? Like the sleeping part is always the toughest part. Yeah,
we did. But so going back a weekend prior to that, probably the weekend when I got sick, I'd forgotten to give listeners and you an update. It's been a while since I'd had given a Vasilis update. And that was the first time I'd seen Vasilis in basically 2 months. And he is not drinking. You sick? Possibly. Who knows? He's always got something. Probably gave me chlamydia.
Syphilis.
Yeah.
You went with chlamydia. I went with syphilis.
But he's not drinking at the moment because he has this bacterial infection in his stomach. And so he has to do a couple weeks of not drinking while he goes through his antibiotics or whatever it is he's taking. And he turned up. He met a few of us at this bar. He'd finished work. So he joined all of us we'd been to the rugby and then we'd gone afterwards to eat. So we were kind of a few hours into our sort of activities when he joined in. And I got to say, we always joke about like, is Vass dumb or is he just speaking his third language? Vass, with the week or two break that he's had from alcohol and drugs, his mind, I remarked to him that I was like, Vass, your brain's quick now. And he was like, I know, Eddie, I know.
It's sharp as a tack now.
He's Bradley Cooper in Limitless. But all he had to do was
just not as good looking.
yeah, and not quite as he's not solving the world's problems, but all he had to do was stop taking drugs and stop drinking. And funnily enough, that his brain worked better. Who would have thought? But he was making jokes. He was witty. He was keeping up with conversation. He was engaged. It was like being with a different person.
That's amazing. I hope I get to see this one day before the antibiotic treatment ends and he's back to his normal self.
No, I think he only has about a week left. So
maybe I'll call him because before a call with Vasilis is almost undoable.
Impossible. To be honest with you,
it's not even a conversation. It's just him saying random things and you just nodding. But now I picture like me calling him and having like an in-depth medical conversation about his current ailments and like possible treatment options and things.
Just throw out with something that you're struggling with in your lab and he might just solve it for you. He might just ad lib a solution. But yeah, he was looking good. He'd slimmed down a bit more. And yeah, his brain was firing on all cylinders. It was quite the experience. He also went home earlier than I did, which for Vass, that already was a remarkable change. For Vass to be in a bar and say, I need to go home, I'm working tomorrow, and to actually get up and leave, I don't think I've ever seen it before. So that was also very, very different.
This is amazing.
And look, I think our society has gone too far with the sobriety thing in that I think we got too many people who like to talk about how they have problems with alcohol. I'm not going to say people need to drink, although I do think to a certain extent we benefit from. I don't know where this is going. Well, I just think it's become fashionable now to give up drinking and say that you had a problem, where it's like you didn't really have a problem. You just were 23 and you liked partying. You weren't an alcoholic. but now everything needs to be framed that way. Like, no, it was really bad. It's like you're just describing a normal college experience. So I'm not one to try and tell people they should stop drinking. This might be, maybe Vash should stop drinking. Like when your life improves that much, that quickly, maybe you should give up the alcohol.
He was recently promoted to part owner of the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, won the Nobel Prize. Who knows? Who knows what's possible for him?
Oh, that's so funny.
And in other news, you and I have spoken about those speaking about restaurant owners, the fake AI stories of athletes giving $50,000 to save the restaurant that fed them for free when they were a kid. And
what do you got now?
It's moved on. These stories have evolved. So now it will be a picture of the athlete next to their wife, and it will be a heartfelt message from their wife. So I saw this first for Rory McIlroy, and now I've seen it for Tiger Woods. And it says, breaking news. And the message was, this is one of the toughest challenges my family has ever faced, but we're facing it together. This is actually Tiger Woods' words, supposedly. The woman has always been my heart, my partner, and my greatest source of strength, now needs me by her side, and I'll be there every step of the way. Golf have always been, the English is not great, been a big part of my life, but nothing matters
Tiger Woods is
more
not
than,
a native English speaker.
He struggles. Didn't go to Stanford or anything, but nothing matters more than family. I'm asking for your prayers, love, and kindness as we walk through this together with courage, hope, and your support. We'll get through this. I saw exactly the same message that was supposedly Rory McIlroy's wife speaking about Rory McIlroy and about how he was also going to need to take a break from the game. I saw that message.
With these golfers' wives.
I literally,
it's
no
epidemic.
joke, I saw that on social media whilst I was watching Rory McIlroy play golf live on television. It was while he was playing in the final of the DP World Tour. But meanwhile, his wife was telling us that he needed to take a time away from golf. So,
oh no, I don't know what could be troubling these. What's the issue with these wives? Is it like an outbreak? Are they sick?
In fairness, with both of those wives, we might be able to figure out what they could have issues with. But in this particular instance, I don't know. But yeah, I think this is the new Saved a Restaurant is our family's going through a tough time.
Yeah. Well, I guess speaking of tough times, Eddie, when you were here, I commented to you, we discussed obviously the weather and moving to Minneapolis is going to be a big shift from Arizona. And basically I'd said, hey, I can't really complain. It's basically December and we haven't even had a snowstorm yet or some really cold weather. Well, right before December hit, the snowstorm came to prove me wrong. And the day after Thanksgiving, we had our first snow. I wouldn't call it like a storm. We got about 3 to 5 inches in the city, which it wasn't terrible. Have to say, because now that when it was super cold too, like today it was like 9 degrees out when I went to work in the morning. So I hadn't seen anyone in the office since before this, because obviously Thanksgiving, Thursday, Friday off. So when I came in today, at least 4 faculty had come to me and been like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, we'll get through this. Like, it's your first winter. It's okay. And like, so the first one, I pulled the joke, or I tried to pull the joke of like, I can't do this, man. I think I'm out. Like, I think I'm done. And then I was like, I'm actually packing up my office now. And then the other 2, I gave it to like, you guys consider this like winter? This is nothing. And then I kind of regretted that because I know I'm now going to screw myself for like a terrible, terrible winter. But it's just funny that at least 4 or 5 people came up to me today to check in on me after the first snowstorm. But the first one's fun. Like, your first time you get snow, it's always kind of fun, right? It's like, oh, snow, cool. Like the shoveling was kind of funny. I have an electric shovel and it just like destroys the snow like 20 feet into the air. And I was like hitting my neighbor's house. And it was really bad because I thought they were actually going to come out and yell. So I had to direct it the other way into the street. Then I had to stop whenever a car would drive by because I would like demolish a car. So that was kind of fun. But I don't know if like the 15th time I'm shoveling snow this winter is going to be as fun as the first time. So to be determined on that front.
Yeah. No, I think the novelty definitely, and as someone who grew up in a fairly snowy environment in Salt Lake City, I think the novelty definitely wears off. And plus the actual snow, right? It's when it starts to melt and then you're just dealing with sludge and everything's just dirty. That's when
the roads are so gross already.
That's when all
disgusting.
Novelty is gone.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing looking out on your lawn and it's just nice pure white snow and you think about feels very Christmassy, especially as you get towards, I think it definitely puts you, I think back on my childhoods and no Christmas I've had since then has kind of matched that because it really felt like a kind of hallmark Christmas in terms of what it was supposed to look like, and it's not quite the same when you don't have snow, but I definitely don't miss just everything being wet and dirty all the time.
Yeah. There's no hallmark moment when you step out of your car into a puddle of brown gook.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know what could cheer you up though?
Not the Minnesota Vikings.
No. I don't want to, we don't need to move on to TV before we talk about sport, but this is sports TV. Have you started watching Heated Rivalry yet?
No.
Oh, I mean, this is a show made for you. Yeah, you haven't seen anything about
is it the hockey one? Is it the hockey one?
Yes.
I haven't watched anything. I just know that there's a new hockey show on. So tell me about it.
So it is for people
it's
unfamiliar.
HBO Max, isn't it?
It is on HBO Max. It's a new romantic hockey drama.
Love it.
The synopsis is two rival hockey stars at the top of their game face an unexpected challenge when they develop feelings for each other. Are you unaware of this twist?
No, I didn't know that. It's kind of like Challengers, but without Zendaya.
Yes. No threesomes here. Complicating their careers and their sports expectations. Is. I've seen some clips. It's
steamy,
spicy, it's steamy. It's very interesting. There's one really good scene that I saw a clip of where the two of them are sitting on their bench and like talking to each other because they're playing international hockey, I think, in this moment. So one of them is Canadian and the other one is Finnish. I think something like that.
Or an international romance.
Yeah, one of them's either American or Canadian, and the other one is definitely Finnish, I think. Although he has a very Russian name, Ilya Rozanov, but I think he's Finnish. Because and they're sort of shit talking each other, sitting on the end of their respective benches, but then it turns to flirting. It's included, and as the one guy gets onto the ice, as like the changeover happens, he tells the other guy the room number that he's in the hotel.
Oh my God.
So,
all right, I'll definitely check out. All right, here I'm looking now on. Let me see, Rotten Tomatoes, an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 95 audience review.
Can I just say, genuinely, the hockey scenes from the little bit of it that I have seen, I'm not watching an episode, just seen some clips online, don't actually look terrible. Like as far as TV sports go, like the bar is very low, but it actually looks okay.
Okay. Yeah. So they are two stars in Major League Hockey. So not the NHL. They've started a new fictional thing called Major League Hockey. Love it.
So to give a little bit more detail here, the top IMDb user review, which is written by Brian Fabulous, it says Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov are two of the biggest stars in Major League Hockey, bound by ambition, rivalry, and a magnetic pull neither of them fully understands. What begins as a secret fling between two confused teenagers at 17 evolves into a years-long journey of love, denial, and self-discovery. Over the next 8 years, as they chase glory on the ice, they struggle to navigate their feelings off of it, torn between the sport they live for and the love they can't ignore. Shane and Ilya must decide if there's room in their fiercely competitive world for something as fragile and powerful as real love.
Nice. Well, I want
good job, Brian.
Fabulous.
That's very well written.
I'm going to read a quick one too, because I think maybe I have another job as a critic. This is Daniel Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter, so an actual critic. Heated Rivalry may have some comic elements because blustery male bonding is often funny, but it's a sincere, steamy love story for grown-ups. Less the cutting edge and more challengers, but without the pesky Zendaya point of the triangle. He's taken my idea already. Oh, you are good, Daniel Feinberg. We think on the same level. All right, I'll give it a go. I needed a new show. I'm just a little concerned because most of the TV I watch is either at home at night or on the elliptical or the Stairmaster. And I'm a little afraid if I put this on the Stairmaster, the gym I go to, I might be ostracized.
Yeah, I did actually. I first became aware of this because I was skipping through my reels and there was some Instagram comedian guy doing a sketch. He's obviously gay, where he's watching the show and then his father walks in and goes, "Oh, my boy's watching hockey," and sits down to watch it with him. And then it just cuts to a scene of the two guys like blowing each other. I think it might be tough one to put on in public.
Oh, that's great.
And actually looking through the reviews, IMDb fan 18949808882 even touches on this because they say first 2 episodes were really great, really excellent nonverbal acting from both leads.
Excellent. Hey, I'll give it a go. I mean, listen.
Oh, it was made for you.
Yeah, let's go. I love a good hockey love story.
I almost feel like I need to watch it because there's a chance you might be in it. That's the.
This is why actually I moved to Minneapolis as they were shooting it here.
Yeah, like I feel like I have an obligation just to make sure. Written and directed by Frank Duca, inspired by the true story, inspired by real world events.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, check it out.
I'm trying to, because there was another. What's the other? Is it a football one that's like that? This isn't the first time that this has been done. I can't remember what the other sport was that's done it. I think it was football, but I have to think about it. It wasn't very good. But this, I mean, the reviews look good. So I'm always up for a good new sports show. Speaking of HBO, have you finished The Chair Company yet?
Haven't watched
the finale.
Maybe I did.
I think you would know if you've watched the finale.
No, I think I've only watched 7 episodes.
Okay. This show in the last 2 episodes has gone off the fucking rails.
Yeah, even episode 7 was a little weird.
7 was weird. 8 is just off the fucking rails. It's insane. Like, I don't even fully get what the hell's going on. And now I really don't understand what this is supposed to be. Like, it's crazy. You have to watch the finale. It's so weird. It's insane. Like, the twist, they develop like these characters and these storylines for 7 episodes, and then in episode 8 they just throw a major twist into like 5 different storylines. It's crazy. It is insane how much it twists. But yeah, definitely an interesting show for people who like Tim Robinson. It's out there for sure.
I'll wrap it up this weekend. Well, this week. Perfect. So next episode we can do a little bit of a breakdown.
Perfect. So we didn't really discuss Thanksgiving at all, but we both had Thanksgiving dinners. but we both watched a lot of football during that time. So should we start then with start chronologically?
Yeah, let's go for it. We can just start four upsets right off the bat, 4 underdogs, 1 in a row, to either make people's Thanksgivings great or ruin them, depending on your perspective. But some good games in there. Couple stinkers.
I think only one. Yeah, I think only one real surprise. Like underdogs won, but I think a lot of those games, you could have talked your way into picking the underdog minus the Bengals game, I think. I honestly, I picked Green Bay. Like, I thought Green Bay would beat the Lions.
We had 2 small underdogs, kind of basically toss-ups. I also think the Bears beating the Eagles was somewhat surprising. It isn't based on their records, but still, the Bears going to Philadelphia and winning, I think, surprised most people.
Yeah, and it was like I'm trying to think. It feels like it was so long ago on that Thursday and that Friday, but I remember one of the things I wanted to discuss in that Bears game is Eagles fans are they're the worst, man. They're just such shitheads. Like, this is a team that just won the Super Bowl last year and was 8-3 going into that game, and you're fucking booing your team like 3 drives into the game. Like, seriously, go fuck yourselves, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, I hate, like, this is to me a very like specific type of fan, and I can't stand it. Like, you have to support your teams to an extent. Like, if your team is the New York Giants and after the 3rd drive they do shit like they always do, yeah, okay, go ahead and boo. Like, your team has consistently been bad, hasn't won in 5-6 years. Like, they are bad. But when you just came off of a Super Bowl and you're still first in your division, like, how about instead of going against your team, you actually support your team and try and boost them up a level? Like, okay, they had a bad drive. Now they're going to be even shittier because now they are hearing it from you. Maybe give them some support and they won't be so shitty down the line. Like, I don't think that's why they lost, obviously, because the fans, were going against them. But, like, come on. Like, it's so pathetic. It really is.
Yeah, and they were booing them when the game was 7-7. It wasn't even as if, to even further your point, it wasn't, hey, look, you're reigning Super Bowl champions and you're actually having a pretty good season, but all right, you're losing 21-3 at home and you're pretty annoyed about it. It's like, it's 7-7. You could still win this game easily. And well after
and
they
you're playing
started
a good team.
Yeah, you're playing a playoff team.
Yeah.
And well after that fact, they ultimately, that game came down to 1 or 2 key moments. And the Eagles, if they hadn't had the fumble on the tush push, and if they'd scored on that drive, I think they win the game. I think that was the big momentum swing. And then they were also then hurt by the fact that they missed an extra point, and those just random mixed extra points that always end up seeming to matter. Like, it's so rare that you have the random extra point miss that it is just inconsequential. But, like, fundamentally, the tush push fumble, which we kind of have to talk about the fall off of the tush push. Like, what has happened that now even the Eagles can't do the tush push with the same reliability? It's very bizarre. It was unstoppable for a couple of seasons, and now everyone got annoyed, and it almost feels as if it's somewhat intentional. Like, teams are sabotaging the tush push so they can still, like, it almost feels to me a bit like the Eagles are like, let's fail a few times so when we need to do this in the Super Bowl, people don't complain about it, because they'll point to the few times we false started and the few times we fumbled and the few times we got stuffed, and it won't be treated
as a conspiracy.
I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I do think, like, I also loved post fumble, the commentators were making a big, like, going on about, the guy who I think wished this play got banned, Jalen Hurts. He hates it more than anybody else. Like, he
probably does.
I mean, it probably isn't fun.
Feel good. It cannot feel good.
No, it can't. But I still think, I'm not sure if he hates it more than anybody else. But yeah, it was.
And then also, was it Tyler Warren? Was that game that he fumbled, the tush push? Or was it a later game? There was another tush push fumble of a tight end. A tight end went underneath and fumbled it. the fuck was it?
The Browns fumbled a tush push.
The Browns. That's what it was.
They brought their tight end in, and then he fumbled it on the 4th down against the Niners yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's routinely failing now. But those Thanksgiving games, they were pretty good. I think it was disappointing in the end. Ultimately, like the Lions game was kind of close, but the Packers.
The Lions game was fun.
The Packers always kind of had it under control. And then the Ravens game was a huge disappointment. We were just kind of denied. Even the Eagles game, like none of those games really came down to a final possession, a final play. And to have 4 games where that's the case is somewhat disappointing.
I mean, the Dallas Chiefs game was good.
Yeah, it was fine.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no like last second heroics or like last second field goal kicks for the win. The other thing I want to touch on that is in both of those, that Thursday and Friday game. I think for me, it's probably more the Ravens than it is the Eagles, but I think a little bit in the Eagles too, this works for is like, you're so successful running the ball and at times can almost not be stopped running the ball, but yet the Ravens and the Eagles insist on throwing and throwing and throwing. And it comes to a point is like, I don't get how the Bengals have a terrible rush defense. I think it's like ranked 28th in the league or 30th in the league. That game plan should have been, let's run the ball 85% of the time. Henry, like run it every time. And then once they finally put like 11 in the box, then we can play action and throw it a little bit. But like why they get away from the run game, the Ravens do it a lot. Like there are times where Henry won't touch the ball for like 3 drives. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? This guy is a machine. And they're built to run. Like they have a good offensive line. Like just run the ball. And the Eagles do it too. I mean, Barkley, again, that game, I think he had like 5 yards a carry he was averaging. And they gave him the ball 10 times or 11 times. Like give the guy the ball. Like let them run.
I think a few NFL teams do this. And I think it's almost to the point, the running game, I can understand that there's a certain extent you're protecting that. You don't want a guy to carry the ball 50 times. So I get, and you're picking and choosing, you're thinking we need him healthy for the playoffs. So I understand that's a consideration, but not even just limiting run versus pass. There are times when you see teams where it's like, you're running this play and it's working every time, regardless of how the defense is setting up. And it almost feels a bit as if they're playing Madden and they've figured out a play that works and they almost feel bad. Like, I can't spam you with this unstoppable play. So I'm going to pick something else, even though I know if I just really wanted to win, this is the play I'm going to use. I felt that yesterday in the Rams game, where the Rams were kind of struggling to get their offense going. But you know what? They just worked every time was play action and then just throwing to a tight end. Like they could do that every single time. Pick up 5-6 yards, no problem. And occasionally, if Stafford wanted to, maybe throw to someone deep if they got open. And they had one drive when they got a little desperate on the one touchdown scoring drive where they kind of just did that play after play after play after play after play. And then the next possession, no, we won't do that again. Why? It's not like you tried it and then they figured it out. They've stopped it. You've just decided like, we can't just call the same play every time. It's like, why not? If they can't stop it, what do you care? Because people aren't going to congratulate you for being super smart because you just ran the same play over and over again. Is that what you're worried about?
I agree. I don't understand. I mean, Derrick Henry in that game had 10 carries for 60 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry, and you give it to him 10 times. Like that's like I don't understand that. And Lamar Jackson isn't running the ball nearly as much. And I don't know if he's still hurt or he's not, but like that has dipped off a lot. Like it's just, to me, it's just crazy. And Barkley the same, 13 carries for 56. Like those are great numbers, but you have to give them the ball 20, 25 times. Like, I mean, the Bears, look at what the Bears did. That's like what the Bears are doing is what the Eagles did last year when they consistently won and just wore teams down. Like Caleb Williams is not a Pro Bowler, but he's doing what needs to be done. He's not really turning the ball over. He had an interception that game, but like on the whole, he's not really turning the ball over. They're letting their team run and dictate the play with the run. And then when he needs to make a throw, he can make a throw. But like they ran the ball, I think, for like 200 and something yards that game to beat the Eagles. And they consistently do that. Like they are doing what the Eagles did last year that was successful. And now the Eagles, and I don't know for the Eagles in particular if it's more of a like, we need to keep our receivers happy kind of thing, which like I hope it's not that, but it probably could be, which is kind of a sad thing to think about. But like I don't get it. When you have such a good offensive line and such a good running back, but you just refuse to give him the ball because you want to, like you said, you want to be super fancy or you know, like you want to be innovative. Just do what you're good at. Doesn't matter if it's generic or if it's boring.
Yeah, but no, it legitimately feels like they want to be sort of congratulated in a post-game press conference about how great the play calling was. And I suppose maybe even when they speak to each other to sort of have the admiration of other coaches for the innovative play calling. It was noticeable, for example, I don't know how much of the Jags game you watched yesterday. They ran the same play over and over again. And even the announcers touched on the fact. He was like, they're just running the same play. It's just as the field gets compacted, the routes are being adjusted. So then he's breaking after 6 yards instead of after 12 when they're in their own half. But it's just the same play. And they're flipping the play, and they're changing who's running which route. They weren't saying that negatively. It was like, oh, it's working. And they just do it till they stop it. Why are you saying, oh, you know what? This guy's open every time. We can't do it every time, though. That wouldn't be fair, or that would be boring.
Yeah. Well, you know what that play wasn't? It wasn't Travis Etienne running the ball, because that was my only loss in my prop bet. It was Etienne over 50 yards. And I thought against the Titans, that was a lock. And they decided to just never give him the ball and just let Trevor Lawrence throw the same fucking throw.
Yeah, it wasn't the play.
It was not the play. Apparently it was not the play.
But you know what? If he'd played for the Ravens or whoever, he would have got the 50 yards, but they would have lost by 7 points. Because they would have insisted on giving him the ball just so it looked good, and then they would have lost the game instead.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess the other main talking point from those 4 games, two major talking points, I think. One is the Chiefs and the Lions are in some serious trouble. The Chiefs a little more than the Lions, but both now are, I think, out of the playoff picture. And kind of need to win the majority. I mean, the Chiefs basically need to win out, and the Lions need to win close to every game to make the playoffs. And it's crazy to think last year those were two of the best record teams in the NFL, and both might be short here of making the playoffs without some serious help. So not a good day for both of those. Not a good Thanksgiving for both those teams.
No, and it feels weirder for the Lions because it feels like 2 or 3 weeks ago that they were in pole position to have the number 1 seed, and they felt, we were talking like they're the best team in the NFL, and they felt somewhat unstoppable, and then all of a sudden they might not even make the playoffs. So they both at the moment have the Chiefs have a 42% chance of making the playoffs, and the Lions have a 44% chance of making the playoffs. So still, feels okay, but
it was pretty good. I listened to Simmons obviously this morning, and he actually made one good point. All of his stupid shitty points he made is that like it's pretty crazy to think that the Lions window might be closing. Like it is kind of crazy. Like they had like 2 years ago, like, oh my God, this Lions team, this is a team built now to win forever. And that window might be closing. It is crazy. I mean, you thought they turned it around and this was it. Like the new Lions, this is 5-10 years of this. And no, they might just be the new Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I think that's a little dramatic, but, and I think the difference is there if you think that Dan Campbell's a good coach, which I do, and that you think overall they were smart in how they went about putting together their roster, that there's no reason to think that even as they have to change parts within the team, that they won't be able to stay competitive and potentially even get better. Because the reality is, Jared Goff is a very good quarterback for the Lions, but Jared Goff is not a great quarterback. And so it's very possible to think that within a couple of years, they've actually upgraded at the quarterback position, even though, that's not a criticism of Jared Goff. He is within their system. He works extremely well, but it's not as if I don't think most people would say Jared Goff's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So to be on a team that most people would say is probably a top 5 team, then that's identifying the fact that they have a slight weakness there to a degree. So yeah, I think saying the window is closing feels extreme, but definitely they might have to go through a slight rebuild, which I think they can do while still staying good.
Yeah, I guess the tough part is that division is pretty set for a while with Love and the Packers and Caleb Williams and the Bears, and both having good coaches on those teams as well. It's not like you're in the Texans division.
Like, I'm not totally confident that Love is that great. And
it's Toyotathon now. He's going to be fucking lights out like he was on Thursday.
I'm not confident that the Love is that great. And I think that the Packers might be well positioned to just be a consistently good team, but I don't think they're well positioned to be a great team. And the Bears, whilst this season, I think I've been higher on them than you have, I also am not being fooled into now thinking, let's just pencil the Bears in for being Super Bowl contenders for the next 10 years. Like, there is no difference from what we're seeing from Caleb Williams this year than what we saw from CJ Stroud. We can see how quarterbacks can have major regressions pretty quickly. And, fundamentally, they've kind of ridden their luck in a lot of games. I think most Bears games that you watch, you come away thinking they probably should have lost that, but they won. But good for them. Even that Eagles game kind of felt, as I said, I think there was a moment there where it looked like the Eagles were going to pull away, and then they didn't. And then the Bears took control. So, next year they will not be as lucky as they have been this year.
The other talking point I think I just want to briefly mention is we already kind of discussed the Ravens, but are the Ravens just not that good? Have we just been fooled into thinking the Ravens are a top 5 team and maybe they're just not very good? They haven't looked very good all season, besides 1 or 2 games early on in the year. So even the games they've won lately, they've barely won. We watched them in person against the Vikings, and they didn't look that great against the Vikings. I mean, they won that game, but it wasn't super impressive.
It's a tough one to judge the losing to the Bengals because, Burrow came back and Burrow played really well. And that Bengals offense is, when everything's clicking, arguably the best offense in the league. So it's one of those, it looks bad because they lost to whatever they were coming into that, a 2-win team, but they might,
3-8.
But now they're 3-8.
No, they're 4-8 now.
Oh, now they're 4-8, but
yeah, because they can run the table.
Yeah. But realistically, they might have been the best 3-loss team ever, in that stage of the season in terms of real ability. So yeah, I don't think the Ravens are great, but I think people are overreacting to the fact that they lost to the Bengals as a way of being like, no, they're frauds. It's like, why? Coming into this season, you would have not thought anything strange of the Bengals, putting in a good performance against the Ravens.
And then I guess moving on to the Sunday games, if we can just kind of quickly go through some of them. Niners, Browns. I think the Niners had a pretty convincing win at the end, although it was a little closer than I would have liked at halftime. And I wasn't super happy with the Niners defense. They gave Sanders some trouble, but I still think he played better than I would have liked to see him play. Although I don't know if you saw, he ended up with 149 yards, and the biggest prop bet in DraftKings for that week was Sanders over 150. So at least
but
they
hold on
stopped
here.
that.
The Browns scored 8 points. How much, which was a 2-point conversion on their opening touchdown drive. Not opening drive, but their only touchdown of the game. What's the standard that you're setting for how dominant a defense needs to be? They turn the ball over multiple times. Now, through special
the standard
teams,
I'm setting is coming into this. Sanders' last 2 games, his QBR was 2.2 and 8.5, and the Niners let him have a 16.1. He doubled it, Eddie.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I'm fine with that. I thought it was, I was a little bit worried, obviously, when they had the initial drive. When they took the lead and they went for 2. And that was, I always get worried when a team goes for 2 early on and gets it, because it feels like one of those things. It's an indication of how the rest of the game might go. But, yeah, I mean, look, he basically just relies on screen passes, and he has NFL media losing their minds every time he completes a screen pass for 7 yards. Like literally just people fawning and falling all over him because he's done something that any NFL quarterback is capable of doing.
No, it's even worse than that, because I don't know if you watched I watched Red Zone, but they had it on when he made that nice screen pass that went for whatever it was, 20 yards or 30 yards. And the glow up they gave him for throwing a 2-yard fucking screen, like, oh, look at that. This is so great by Shadeur here. Look what he does. He takes the snap, he turns, and he just delivers the ball right to his hands and lets his receiver make a play. It's like, it was a 3-yard pass. Like, the fact that you're even congratulating an NFL quarterback for making a 3-yard pass is insane. But then when they went like extra above and beyond to say how impressive of a throw it was a 3-yard pass. Like, come on. Like, I get that. I feel like the media is trying to like almost flip the narrative of now, like, because he's gotten so much heat, they want to like give him his moment. And like, just don't do either. Just treat him like a normal quarterback. Like, okay, wow, he did his job there and gave the receiver the ball, and the receiver made a nice play. That's all you need. I don't need to hear how great of a screen pass throw it was. The best screen pass we've ever seen. Like, no, come on, fuck off.
Yeah, and on top of it too, there's now, I don't know if Stefanski's facing a huge backlash for supposedly sabotaging Sanders with the play calling, and also the people being critical of Judy there was the deep pass. Sanders overthrew him. Like, I don't know.
By 10 yards.
Could he have been sprinting harder towards the ball? Sure. Like, and it wasn't one of those plays that as you watched it develop on camera, you're like, uh-oh, he is going to have him deep here. But he overthrew him. And yet now it's like, well, Judy just doesn't, Judy doesn't care. And Judy doesn't like Sanders, so he's trying to sabotage him. And now Stefanski's trying. And the big play that they use as evidence as to how Stefanski is trying to sabotage Sanders is the 4th and 26 at the end of the game, where Sanders then, like a moron, scrambled for a 6-yard gain.
And then slides. He slid.
Yes.
He slid.
Yeah. And everyone was like, hung out to dry by Stefanski's play calling. What do you want him to call on 4th and 26 on a game where you haven't been moving the ball at all? And what are you going to do when your quarterback isn't even smart enough to go, I'll heave it downfield and hope for the best? Maybe there'll be a pass interference. Maybe a guy will make a great catch. But do you know what's not going to get us the 26 yards? Is me slowly walking forward for 6 yards and then sliding to the ground. Chance of first down on that, very, very low.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do they want him to do? He can't throw the ball intermediate or deep. So we're taking way too much time, but I'm just because now I'm heated. This is his play-by-play throughout the game. So this is the first drive. Sanders, short pass right, Judy. These are just his completions. Next one, 5-yard pass. Sanders, short pass left, Judkins. And then they punted, end up on that one. Next drive.
I don't know if we need a possession by possession.
Wait, just real quick. Next play, short pass left to Lavardian for 10.
All right, we get it.
Hold on. I'm almost done. Sanders, short pass left to Ford for 9 yards. That's it. Then after that, it's punt. Then he has the touchdown where he has that was a nice throw. That deep throw ball he had for the touchdown.
Yeah, like
that was his
pass.
His one nice touchdown pass. After that, they went 5 plays punt, 4 plays fumble, 3 plays punt, 7 plays down, 8 plays down. Like, that's not a good game. You had 1 good throw and 5 short passes left or right. Like, we need to relax. He had a 16 QBR. That's still, if it weren't for the Vikings quarterback who had like a negative, and you can't get a negative, it's the worst in the NFL.
Here's where you and I are going to one, I don't care about the QBR. I don't think that's how you really can analyze the quality of a performance. And also, I'd be willing to forgive. For example, Cam Ward has been pretty bad this year, but you still see glimpses from Cam Ward that make me think he could be, I'm not saying he will be, but he could be a very good NFL quarterback. You see enough from him, a couple plays he makes, arm strength, like different things. There's more bad than there is good, and he's on a terrible team. So he's in a position where playing well is going to be tough. But you still see something. I don't watch Shadeur Sanders and see anything that makes me think that guy's got it. Like he's, and what I even love now too, when now people are like, oh, Judy's not playing for him. The one big argument people had the whole time for why he should come in, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. The whole locker room loves him. Except now Stefanski, his head coach, hates him. His best wide receiver hates him. Who's next? Now Myles Garrett hates him. Oh, these guys are just hanging out to dry. You know what I mean? Like, well, how many people are going to hate him before he's not the most loved person in the locker room? But
yeah,
the real talking point from that game and from the game before, the Monday night game, what is Jennings saying to people to get him punched in the dick on Monday night against the Panthers and then called a hoe by a Browns player post game? What is Jennings
I thought
saying?
It was his own player called him a hoe.
No. It was a Browns defensive lineman.
Oh. I don't know. That is pretty funny though. Yeah, the balls punch was rough. That's one of the worst things I've seen in a while. The slow-mo of like when he gets hit and he like his body flies back like 2 feet in the air. Like just watching that makes you cringe.
I read a subreddit where people were talking about the usage of the word hoe, and I think it's quite regional in the U.S. So supposedly in Georgia, it's a very common insult that gets thrown at people. To me, I was just confused when he got called a hoe as to what the context is and what that really means when another man calls another man a hoe.
I don't know.
Felt weird.
Do you know? Did they give some context?
They didn't really explain it, but it was said, oh, this is super common. Like you'll just hear it.
Okay.
Like calling someone an asshole. I think basically it's just, you're a hoe is just normal. But if you're not from that region, it's a very bizarre thing to be calling another man. Well, not to be calling another man, but to be saying he deserves to get punched in the face on a football field because he's a hoe. That could be a storyline from that hockey show. That would make sense.
Maybe he's sleeping with all the Browns players' wives.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a punch to the dick. Maybe it was a grab for the dick. Maybe they're all sleeping with each other. Just guy got a little too excited too early. Didn't wait for the shower.
Jags, Tennessee. We kind of already touched on Jacksonville. Not much to say there.
But they're going to make the playoffs. But they're not good.
No. Houston, Indy. That was a big game. Kind of kept Houston in the playoff run, and is now just the fall of the Indianapolis Colts is falling down that hill more and more every week.
You know when I knew the Colts were really in trouble? When
like Daniel Jones had a broken fibula?
Well, more to the point, he's wearing this weird like 3D printed cast that's made by his college roommate. So it's
well, no, wait, but I mean, he went to Duke. His roommate could be like a biomedical engineer. He could be like a smart fucking guy.
It's a legitimate company. It's not like this guy didn't just, it's not arts and craft and the guy made it for him, but still I'm a little skeptical as to how much you've really looked into the best solution for your ankle when you've landed on the company that your college roommate founded.
That's pretty awesome, though.
But ultimately, right, it's does Taylor score a touchdown or not for the Colts? They've lost every game when Taylor doesn't score a touchdown, and they've won all but one when he does.
Yep.
So, I mean, which I think is just a larger indication of when their run game can really get going, then they're a really good team. And when it can't, then they're not. But that was a fun game. And I'll stand by that extra point missed.
I don't get it. It missed. I don't understand. I was so confused when it happened, and I haven't seen anything to prove otherwise.
No. And they're kind of defending it. Like the official line from when you hear people talking about it on ESPN or, other media partners of the NFL is, we don't have a definitive angle that shows, so it's impossible to say. It's like, it's not impossible to say. I'm watching it. We're directly behind. And it clearly, the whole ball has to be inside the upright if it goes above it. And there's no moment where it could possibly be inside the upright.
Eddie, maybe this is a business idea. I just came up to fly here. Why don't we have cameras on the top of the goalposts, like in the actual goalposts, just shooting straight up? Can we invent that?
You wouldn't even need that. You could just use like Hawkeye from the same way with cricket. It could just tell you where the ball pass.
But don't you need a camera on Hawkeye?
I just think it takes
you would need some camera.
Well, no, you just need the camera. It just takes all the camera information from the multiple angles. I don't know how many official cameras they need to be able to, but I would
say we
imagine
just put a camera right in the goalposts.
I don't know if that would necessarily solve the problem. But there's also chips in the balls. That's you could just look through the chip and go, like, that's a static space that you have to pass through. It's not like there's no dynamic element to. You could go into the game and say, these are the exact coordinates the ball has to pass. It's like goal line technology in football.
Yeah.
You would just say, yep, that's good. We don't need two guys standing underneath and then looking at each other being like, did it go in? Yeah, it did. And the dumb scenario where you get like the guy on the right giving it went in, and the guy on the left, no good. It's like, yeah, it missed the left upright by 17 yards. But the guy on the right has to like signal it was good because it did pass to the left hand side of his upright. Like, it's such a stupid, old fashioned way of doing it at this stage.
Yeah, it is. And then Dolphins over the Saints. Don't need to really discuss that. Jets over the Falcons. Don't need to really discuss that. Carolina, obviously, over the Rams. That's probably the biggest upset of the week.
Heartbreaking for me. Heartbreaking.
But,
yeah. I mean, look, I don't know what happens when I bet against Bryce Young. He all of a sudden turns into a pretty decent quarterback. He wasn't that great, but he had two nice fourth down plays. The second one, again, I don't want to sound too bitter, but there's just egregious holding by the center on the game winning touchdown. But the Rams kind of just got in their own way throughout that game, kept feeling like they were going to win it every time they took the lead again. It was like, oh, here we go. And it's just sort of weird. It's indicative of what this NFL season is like, which is every time we get to the point where we say this team is the best team, then they lose, and they lose in a way which makes you really doubt how good they are. So the Rams offense is really good and efficient, especially super efficient in the red zone. And they, had an interception thrown in the red zone. And then you also had at the end of the game, the delay of game followed by the fumble. But also you then had their defense, which was so great. And I mean, it was pretty good yesterday in the sense that I guess like if they could have just stopped those two fourth down conversions, and if you didn't have the pick six, then it looks like a pretty good defensive outing overall. I mean, that's it's easier said than done, but you know what I mean? Like, it's still not a terrible defensive outing, but yeah, they've gone from, the Rams are definitely the best team in the NFL to, I don't know. And should Stafford be MVP? Because that's a pretty bad performance at a pretty meaningful stage of the season. Also, one other rant. That delay of game, I've never seen a delay of game called. The clock hit 0 and the penalty was gone. And normally it's like, no. They see 0, then they look to see if the ball snaps. So really you get an extra second, sometimes even 2. And that was literally, I don't even know if it had touched 0 and it was already getting blown dead for the delay of game.
Yeah. And usually then you even get the benefit of the doubt that the coach will like call a timeout after the fact. And they didn't get that either. As
we saw in the Packers game with the timeout being called 3 seconds after the false start. Like,
that was bullshit. Yeah. I don't know what to make of that game. I mean, I guess the one thing you could say is turnovers really matter. You know, the Rams had 3 turnovers, the Panthers had none. And at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what sealed that victory. I still think the Rams obviously are the better team. And I think even on that day, they were probably the better team. But when you turn the ball over 3 times and, one is obviously to tie or win the game at the end, and another is not only a turnover, but a pick 6, it's really going to fuck you. Like, it doesn't change my opinion of the Rams. I still probably actually think they're the best team in the NFC. I don't know. But it was a weird result. Yeah. So quite disappointing. Other games then, Tampa holding off the Cardinals and still kind of keeping playoff hopes alive in a weak division there. Seattle thromping the Vikings.
I mean, look, were we too hard on JJ McCarthy? Because
of
Max
course.
Max Brosmer came out. No, but I know. And look, Max Brosmer probably doesn't even deserve to be in the NFL. That's not a knock on him. But, we're not talking about some, much heralded backup. But maybe the Vikings just suck. Okay, JJ McCarthy was playing badly, but maybe this team is just actually pretty terrible. And so any quarterback almost is going to look bad in that environment.
Yeah. I mean, that was rough. So I think last week they said JJ McCarthy's performance was worse than if he had just spiked the ball every play. And then this one was even worse than McCarthy's performance last week. So you think you've hit rock bottom, but then they dug the hole 6 feet deeper and then really put the Vikings in rock bottom. Chargers over the Raiders. Not much there. I think that was pretty well expected. And then the last 2 games of the day, I think you had Buffalo over Pittsburgh. And that was, I think, the nail in the coffin for the Steelers. I don't see them coming back from that. And good win for the Bills. They needed that win. And then Denver beating Washington. Obviously, Denver now in the 1 spot. This is the other one I want to. So we touched on the Eagles fans, right? Booing their team. Did you see the Steelers fans were chanting "Fire Tomlin"?
It's always the risk, right? When you've been consistently pretty good, but you haven't been great, that as soon as things start to become a bit bad, people turn on you fast. And that the consistency people have praised you for hasn't been satisfying enough to buy you extra time. It's kind of reminiscent, although the drop-off was more dramatic, but of what happened with Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, where you had this really long period. He was there for 20 seasons, and they won multiple titles throughout that period. But in the final sort of 10 years of him being there, they weren't really that competitive, but they weren't that bad either. And as soon as things got kind of dipped under the acceptable threshold, then everyone just wanted him gone immediately. And everything he had done throughout his time there was immediately forgotten. And it feels, pretty similar to that. And I don't know, it seems ungrateful. Also, it it means everything that people were saying prior to this was complete nonsense. So they're like, no, we love being in the playoffs every year. We love being, it's like, no, obviously you don't. Because if this one season you're now going to miss the playoffs, that's reason enough to get rid of him. Then obviously the 15 years of consistency didn't really matter.
Yeah, and I mean, is it really Tomlin's fault that since Roethlisberger they haven't had a legitimate QB since? That's not his fault. What he's playing with is impressive. I mean, I am someone who has been that anti-Steelers for 3 years now. And it's not because of Tomlin. It's because the team they put out there is not a good caliber team. And he's still able to make them a 500 club with a team that isn't that great. So, I mean, for me, I think that your comparison is good. But for me, I like the personal comparison is Tom Coughlin and the Giants. I mean, Tom Coughlin was the Giants coach for 10, 11 years, won them 2 Super Bowls, and then towards the end had a bigger drop off than Tomlin, obviously, but had, I think an 8-win season and then 2 6-win seasons. And then there was chance to fire Coughlin. We got to get rid of this old fuck. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I mean, it's be careful what you wish for, because you know what it's been since then? Ben fucking McAdoo, Steve Spagnuolo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, Fat Dayball. It hasn't since 2015. They haven't been relevant.
Why do you have to get the fat thrown in?
Because I hate him. I hate him so much. It is one of those things. You want to fire him or you want to get rid of someone who's been pretty consistent and put you in the playoffs. Well, what the downside might be? You might not see the playoffs again for another 12 seasons, and you might have 3-win and 2-win and 4-win seasons. Be careful what you wish for in firing a coach that is a good coach just in a rough patch.
Yeah. No, I think it's totally fair. And yeah, it's Tomlin deserves, I'm a big believer that when you've had that type of involvement and contribution to a team, that you then deserve to pick when you want to leave and leave on your own terms. Tomlin should basically, especially because the Steelers don't, they've only had 3 head coaches or whatever it is in the last 60 years.
90 years.
Especially given that being in the DNA of the team. But just in general, if Tomlin wants to coach there for the rest of his life, I kind of think you just let him. It's the same way I felt about Bill Belichick with the Patriots. Regardless of how bad it got under Belichick with the Patriots, they should have said, look, I don't care if he's walking onto the sidelines mid-game and just dementia-ridden, pulling down his pants and taking a poop instead of calling a play. That's okay. Bill gets to do that.
That'd be awesome. I wish they kept him for that.
But he gets to do that. That's if we're going to build a statue outside to you, then you get to be here for as long as you want to be here. Otherwise, it's kind of goes against the idea of the statue. If you're saying to people, no, we want to get rid of you, then don't build and I'm not saying they probably won't build a Mike Tomlin statue, so it's not a fair comparison. But yeah, it's it seems ungrateful and very, very short memories.
I got to go run and get my charger. My computer's about to die. So just now, if we look at the NFL playoff picture, so we're 13 weeks done. I mean, minus the Monday night game, which actually really wouldn't change anything. This is the current playoff picture. So your 1 seeds with the bye are the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos. Whoever had that bet, if that holds true, it would be a nice little payout, I think. But in the NFC, here will be your matchups. And you tell me what you think. Just a quick who wins it. Your 5 versus 4 matchup is the Seattle Seahawks 5 seed, Tampa Bay Bucks 4 seed.
Seattle, easily.
Yeah, I think that's an easy win. You have 6 seed Green Bay Packers, who many people say is the best team in the NFL at a 6 seed. Also fucking crazy. Against the 3 seed Philadelphia Eagles. That's a good game.
It is a good game, and we saw them play each other 3 weeks ago, and the Eagles won. So I think I got to give the edge to the Eagles. Just play off having home field advantage, and I'll say Eagles, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers won that game.
Yeah, I think that's a good game. And then I think this game also is a good game. You have your 2 seed Los Angeles Rams versus the 7 seed San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect the Rams to win, but we've already seen the Niners beat them this season, and that was with Mac Jones plus minus all of their offensive weapons aside from Christian McCaffrey, basically.
Yeah.
So,
although their defense now is a little bit of in shambles without
is it though?
Warner and Bosa. I mean, you lost your best linebacker and your best D end.
Okay, well, Bosa's contribution to the team, I think, is questionable. I think there's more.
Oh wow.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think he's more of a name than he is a difference maker in a lot of games. And there's been lots of times where people have been critical for Bosa for in big games being a little bit of a no-show. So not really having dominant Super Bowl performances, for example. Warner's a huge one because he's also just a sort of defensive general. He's, organizing everything. But when I say, is it an issue? I mean, in the sense that the defense now appears to be working pretty efficiently. Like, yes, of course, would you love to have those two players? Absolutely, especially Fred Warner. But do I think their defense is bad? No. I think their defense is, probably slightly underrated at this stage because people focus on who's missing rather than actually looking at the way it's performing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good matchup. I mean, they've obviously split the regular season 1-1. So I think that's actually a little unfair of a matchup for the Niners for the wild card. That's probably the toughest wild card opponent you can get. Yeah, if I were the Niners, I think I'd rather either play the Eagles or Tampa Bay than the Rams. But and then notably,
I'd definitely rather play Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And then notably out of the playoff picture currently would be the Detroit Lions at 7-5, the Dallas Cowboys at 6-5, and the Carolina Panthers at 7-6. And then obviously after that, it's a pretty massive drop off. So
I do think the Lions get in.
Over who? Niners, Packers, or Seattle? Or the Rams. I guess you could throw the Rams in there technically too.
Well, the Niners still have quite an easy schedule left. They play the Titans next. Then they play the Colts and the Bears, which I think you'd have to say they win one of those. And then they play the Seahawks, and the question there is that's a tough game, but will the Seahawks necessarily have anything to play for? The Niners also might not because, they might be locked into the 6th seed. So that's the tough one there. I still think they probably get 3 wins from their remaining 4 games. So I'll say no to them. The Packers schedule is not easy. Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens. Like those are
tough.
And then final week Vikings. Okay, that's a win. But those other 4 games, those are all losable.
Yeah, and I mean equally the Bears too. I think the Bears they had like one of the easiest schedules the first 10 or 11 games it was, and now they have like the 3rd hardest schedule on the back end. So even the Bears sitting at the 1 seed, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they actually drop out of the playoffs.
They could lose 4 of their last 5 because they have the Packers twice, they have the Niners, they have Lions last game of the season, and okay, they have the Browns in 2 weeks. That's their gimme. But they could lose 4 of those 5 without.
That's a tough slate.
without playing badly.
Yeah, and add that to they just played the Eagles, so that was obviously they won that game, but that's probably took a lot out of them to have to go up against that caliber week in and week out.
I guess the tough thing for the Lions, it's not super easy. It's Cowboys this Thursday, Rams the following week, and then Steelers, Vikings. You expect them to win those 2, and then the Bears will be a must-win game for them. I'll say they win 4 of those, like one of the Cowboys or the Rams, but it's hard to see them winning all 5.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't make it.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be down to the end, I think, for both the NFC and the AFC, but I think the NFC is going to be pretty interesting because you're looking at either, as of now, it's either 3 teams from the NFC West or 3 teams from the NFC North. It's kind of how it will likely play out. unless the Cowboys stay super hot and kind of win out here and push for that second spot, or they might actually even just push to beat the Eagles. Who knows?
This is why
unlikely.
We judge things too much. We're too reactionary from one season to the next. Because if you remember, we, like a lot of podcasts and sports media coverage 2 or 3 years ago, had that discussion of could all 4 teams from the NFC West make the playoffs? There was that one year where we spoke about it. And then it kind of went badly. And then, not to throw Bill Simmons under the bus, but he hates the NFC West in general. He, in particular, hates the 49ers. His was, is it now the worst division in football? Like last year, that was his big talk. That was his big take. And now a year later, it's almost certainly the best division in football. So maybe we need to stop thinking that one season should dramatically shift how we see teams or divisions, and rather think, no, there's a lot of talent in that team. So even if they had some injuries or things went badly, that doesn't mean they're suddenly terrible. But obviously people are going to still stay reactionary, but it's just kind of funny that we went from definitely the best division to probably the worst division to immediately back to probably the best.
Yeah. And then on the AFC side, you have, like I said, Denver has the bye, and then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, the 5 seed, against the Baltimore Ravens as the 4 seed. The Baltimore Ravens currently are winning that division somehow, even not looking so good, and already just losing to the Bengals.
Yeah, and probably are winning the division. That's, I think that's done now. So they're not even going to have to be that great in order to do it. So who was the matchup against again?
Chargers versus the Ravens.
I'll give the edge to the Ravens.
Okay.
But that would be an absolute stay away for me. But this will probably be fun to watch one way or the other, but it could be a blowout for either team. But
at least one of those quarterbacks has to boost their postseason resume.
Yes. And the other one will face is he even good?
Worse. Yeah.
Like it's going to be
good for one quarterback and really bad for the other.
Yeah. One of them is I knew he was terrible. He's so overrated.
Yeah. And then you have the classic playoff matchup everyone is hoping for. The 6 seed Indianapolis Colts versus the 3 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. What a fucking thriller.
I think that could be fun though.
I don't know.
I think that could be fun. I would back the Colts. I still have enough faith in them that the wheels have not come off yet, and that they will kind of refine some form between now and the playoffs. I think they're going to be a difficult out in the playoffs because I do think.
I mean, they're the 6th seed right now.
Obviously, there is. You know what? If they don't make it, they're an even harder out because you won't even get the chance. You won't even get the chance to beat them. But I think I just have so much faith in playoff scenarios and teams that could just run the ball. And assuming it can go badly because it can end up with Taylor having 25 carries for 63 yards and their offense just has completely stalled. But, it's so cliched, but it gets colder and it favors defenses more and teams just get a bit tighter and less, adventurous. And the combination of their ability to run the ball versus like the Jags and the tendency of Trevor Lawrence to do something catastrophically stupid, I could think that's a nice look for the Colts.
Yeah, and actually that division is far from wrapped up. I mean, that one, who knows who wins that division? You have the Jags at 8-4, the Colts at 8-4, and the Texans at 7-5. And the difference here between this and the NFC West is, I think any team in the NFC West could potentially win the Super Bowl. I don't think any one of these teams can make it to the AFC Championship in the Jags, Colts, or Texans. So even though they have good records, I don't think they're actually that great a team.
I'm not going to throw out the chances of the Texans or the Colts.
Okay. And then the last game will be the Buffalo Bills as the 7 seed traveling to New England to face the Patriots, who will be the 2 seed. I would put everything on the Bills if this happened. I don't care that the Bills don't look that great. I think the Patriots are not very good. I think they're so overrated. After they lose to the Giants in about an hour, people are going to be saying, oh my God, the Patriots aren't very good. What were we thinking? And this is going to be a great pot of reality for the Patriots.
A great pile of reality.
Yep.
Wow. Look, I agree with you that if this is the matchup that ends up happening, I will almost certainly be betting quite a large sum on the Bills. But I've been there before, and I know that this leads to me staring at a TV midway through the third quarter with the Patriots up by 20 points, telling myself, it's okay, it's Josh Allen. If they could just score on this drive, it could get going. You know, like, on the basis of what we've seen from these two teams so far this season, the Patriots are the better team. And ultimately, the only reason why you can possibly think that the Bills are the better team is Josh Allen. That's it. Like, if you take...
That's enough.
Maybe it is. But that has to be... Your argument has to be that simple. It cannot be they are worse everywhere else. So it's that. Like, even coaching, they're not as good. Like, I would take Vrabel all day. So you're hoping that Josh Allen can just come in and have a Josh Allen playoff performance, which we've seen it from him in the past, where he's, like picking up 100 yards on the ground plus just throwing darts all day. But we've seen some pretty bad performances from him and from the Bills so far this season. I don't know.
You know what, though? We've seen some great Josh Allen playoff performances. When was the last good Drake May playoff performance you've seen?
That doesn't matter to me.
Well, like this guy hasn't played in a playoff game in 7 years.
You're digging yourself into the Patriots are bad position, and it's not.
I don't think the Patriots are bad. I do not think they're the 2 seed in the AFC.
Well, I don't know what that means because they are.
I don't think. I don't think they're the second best team.
You don't think they're the second best team? That's different because one, you're debating the fact that they are the 2 seed, or that they might be the 2 seed. Are they the second best team in the AFC? They might be the second best team in the AFC. No, but I mean, we've just seen too many bad Bills performances. Potential versus floor. Yeah, the Bills' potential because of Josh Allen is higher. I don't think if you're telling me that Josh Allen is going to have an A+ performance against the Patriots, then the Bills win. But if Josh Allen has a C performance and Drake May has a C performance, the Patriots win that game.
I don't know. James Cook's doing good. Cook's having a good season.
Yeah, he is, but
that's 2 weapons.
Having. Yeah, sure, but who
do the Patriots have?
Diggs is pretty good. Henderson's a pretty good running back.
Oh, don't give me this Trayvon Henderson garbage.
Well, I mean, he is pretty. He's, I don't know what to say. Like, he's doing pretty well.
I think playoffs is a much different scenario than a regular season matchup of Drake May and Josh Allen. I know that they've already beaten them once, but I think, and we'll see because they have to play each other again, right? So we'll see.
The reason why I would urge caution is because you're right. But do you know that all it takes to change the way you think about that is one playoff game? Like, literally all it takes is, oh my God, the Patriots just manhandled the Bills in a playoff game for it to suddenly be like, oh, the Bills suck, actually. Like, the Bills are just Josh Allen. And I think at some point this season, we were both very high on the Bills coming into this year. So this isn't me like being a Bills hater. And I think Josh Allen is like a good quarterback, and he's super fun to watch. Like, I love watching Josh Allen when he's playing well. But that team is just Josh Allen. And they're really badly coached. Their defense is not good. And that's not a great position to be in a playoff game. For the same reason that I just said I kind of like the Colts, because, hey, you know what I like? I like a team that can just run the ball, that can do something consistently. The Bills can't do anything consistently.
I don't know. They are 8-4, so they can win.
Yeah, 8-4. I don't want to be that guy, but we go like, who are their wins against? You know, you love doing this. So their wins come against, okay, week 1 against the Ravens. That looked like a great win, that 41-40 game. Maybe not such a great win in hindsight. Then they beat the Jets. Then they beat the Dolphins when the Dolphins were absolutely terrible. Then they beat the Saints, who are still terrible. Then they lost to the Patriots. Then they lost to the Falcons. Then they beat the Panthers, who are not good.
The Panthers.
They beat the Chiefs. That was a big win, but the Chiefs are not great. Then they lost to the Dolphins. Then they beat the Buccaneers at the point where everything was going wrong for the Buccaneers. And that was also, wasn't that the week when, did Baker Mayfield even finish that game? Was that?
I'm not sure.
But still, it was a 44-32. So then they lost to the Texans. Then they beat the Steelers, who we both agree kind of suck. So, like, who's their best win against? Like, who this season?
Ravens, Chiefs, Bucks,
Ravens,
all
though.
Playoff teams?
I mean, I'm not sure that the Bucks are a playoff team. I don't think the Chiefs are a playoff team, and the Ravens
I think
are
the
only
Bucks
going
have to be a playoff team, don't they? Who else is winning that division?
The Panthers? They're only half a game behind.
Yeah, but I think I'm saying either they beat both the Panthers and the Bucks, so one of those is a playoff team. Is what I'm saying.
No, they lost to the Bucks.
No, they beat the Bucks.
No, I mean, they lost to the Panthers.
No, they beat the Panthers. They smoked them.
Okay, so one of them has to be a playoff. Okay, yeah. So, but theoretically here, they've probably beaten 2 playoff teams come to the end of the season. I mean, okay, well, let me look at their schedule. They play the Bengals next. That's not a playoff team. They play the Patriots again. Okay, that is a playoff team if they win. They play the Browns. Definitely not a playoff team. They play the Eagles. Would be a playoff team. And then they play the Jets. So they have 2 chances to beat a playoff team. But they could be a playoff team with a 1 playoff team victory on their resume.
All right, here's my question then. In 2 weeks, they're at New England. What do you set the line? I'm not asking what Vegas sets it. I'm asking what do you set the line?
Patriots -3. Like,
okay,
the old-fashioned approach to home team, pretty even. But
what do you think Vegas sets that line? The Giants, and then bye.
Then a bye.
Right?
Oh, yeah. The bye could be big. Patriots -4, I think, is the line.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you this. I'm not betting on the Bills in that game.
If it's Patriots -4 and I can tease the Bills to 10, plus 10, that's a teaser check.
I don't disagree with you, but then they fucking lost to the Dolphins by 17. You know, like, let's maybe slow. They lost to the Falcons by 10 points.
Oh God, the Falcons are so bad too. The Falcons are fucking terrible.
Like, there's some. Do I agree with you that Bills +10 sounds pretty safe? Yeah, I agree, but then it might not be.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way.
And then, okay.
This week they are 5.5 point favorites against the Bengals. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, not with Burrow back. That guy's got charisma.
2 talking points from the last week, actually. Can people stop asking Joe Burrow why he's playing? Like, can we, and then congratulating him because he goes, I'm getting paid a lot and I actually enjoy doing this. Like, that's like, and just him kind of being puzzled by the question in the first place. But can we stop asking him and then trying to treat him like some hero for the fact that he's just going to go out and do what he's paid to do. And then the second thing, this is something we always talk about. Siriani, who we both hate, facing backlash for going for 2 on the first touchdown that they scored.
Oh my God.
And people treating like, why would you do this? You've basically lost the game there. It's like, yeah, but he's right. His literal answer to that was, now we know if we fail, we know now we need the ball twice. Whereas we want us to just delay the decision until the very last minute so that we lose on the last play of the game versus giving ourselves as much chance as possible to get back into the game. Like, it's so stupid. And people treating him like he's a moron for doing it.
I am so glad you brought this up because I was furious during the game watching this, and I had completely forgotten about that because so much had gone on. I almost fucking was screaming at my television because whoever the announcer was, it is 100% the right play. And I hate when they're like, people no matter what the analytics say, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's got nothing to fucking do with analytics. Just think about it from this perspective. If you have to go for 2, you go for it early because then if you get it, you need a touchdown. And if you don't, then you have to have another possession. So it makes you play right so you can potentially get another possession. What the announcer said was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard because the announcer goes, I don't like that they do that because had they just kicked the extra point there, then if they get the ball back and score the touchdown, they can go for 2 and win it. It's like, yes, but in that scenario, let's say the same thing happens and they fucking go for 2 and miss it, the fucking game is over, you fucking moron. The game is over. You have 0 chance to score again. There's no time left. That is the dumbest thing. In the same scenario, you don't want that to happen because then you know what happens? Then you get even more shit because you can't call a 2-point play right and you lose the game.
Well,
so it's so infuriating because I hate people well, now the players, now the players don't have motivation for this next drive. Why not? They still need to score a touchdown. The motivation's the same. You still are losing and you need the ball back and you need to score. It is so his rationale for why it was bad and being then you can just go for 2 at the end. Yeah. And then you don't get it and the game's over and you've lost. At least this way, you know exactly what you need to do now. It drove me insane.
They were treating it as if you get some kind of bonus point for being as close as possible to winning without losing. Oh, well, you only lost on the final play. You took the game as deep as you could go. And what I also struggle with is we then congratulate coaches for the down 14 going for 2 on the first touchdown. It's the smart move because it's a 50-50 chance. It's the logic is almost the same, which is, I'll go for 2, then we're in a great position to win if we get it. But otherwise, we now know what we need to do on the next time we get the ball back. It's identical. And Siriani was right to do it.
100%. And if the
other
argument
thing
against
I don't get,
it, well, here,
but just the other thing is that basically you're just saying well, it sucks if you aren't successful. It's well, yeah, but if we're just assuming you're not going to be successful in the 2-point conversion, you're losing either way. So who really cares? But also, then if you are successful, you've put yourself in an infinitely better position where not only are you now only down by 7, so if you do get the ball back and you do score a touchdown, you're then in the position to tie. You're also then in the position to win the game with a 2-point. Now, I hate I don't want to go to overtime like what the Commanders did last night.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. I think it's the dumbest move in the world of we have a better chance of winning on this random 2-point play than we do winning in overtime. I think that's an indication you suck as a team. For the Commanders doing it, who cares? Their season was over anyway. Just save yourselves the hassle of playing overtime. But generally, I think it's the stupidest move in the world. But yeah, it would have meant that in the best case scenario, the Eagles are going for 2 as time expires to win the game then versus just hoping to force overtime.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense because the only argument against doing it there is then what the announcer said is well, now your players aren't motivated because they have to score twice and they know that that's not possible. Well, it's like, no, because they know they have to score. So it's the same scenario. You still have to score. You're right. You have to score again, but all that means is you have to get an onside kick now, like, which sucks, whatever. But the other scenario is how pissed are the players going to be when they don't get that 2-point conversion at the end and they've lost? Like, you still lost the game. Like, it makes no sense to me that the argument against doing it is that you then have a chance to win on the final play. But in that scenario, if you don't get the extra point, you don't win, so you lose anyway. Like, nothing changes. So, like, the play call would have been the same play call for the 2-point conversion, and they wouldn't have gotten it, and they would have lost. So at least this way, you've given yourself at least a small percentage chance of still getting that extra score needed instead of losing at the very, like, it's just so, like, I hate that argument against it, that, like, now the players aren't motivated. Like, why aren't they motivated? They're still losing no matter what. That's so dumb. Oh, and then just to finish off the playoff picture real quick.
Yes.
Get not missing. So then that would be the AFC. Just missing out in the AFC would be the Houston Texans, which we just said it's a pretty tight race between the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans for that division, and probably at least one wild card from there. The Steelers at 6-6, I think we can almost cross them off. I do not see them making the playoffs. And then the Chiefs at 6-6, which we've went over this before. They have a tough schedule, kind of doable, but the big issue they have is they are losing tiebreakers to both the Bills and the Jags. So in any scenario that they are tied with them, they are automatically out, which is basically now they're 3 games behind. If we think that final wild card team will be either the Bills or the Jags, which it might likely be. So they are in a pretty rough hole, and they basically have to win out right now if they want to have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're done, but we can pretend they're not, like, are they officially done? No. They're done some point, I think, in the next 2 weeks, because I think they lose to either the Texans or the Chargers. Like, one of those teams will produce a performance that they could lose both, but one of those teams could do it. I am also very much prepared for them to win those 2 games, and then they play the Titans just before Christmas. Then they have the and then
they're going to say they lose to the Titans.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. That would be a fitting way for this Chiefs sort of mini dynasty to end. But then they play the Broncos on Christmas Day, and the NFL needs that to be. And I'm not saying that there's going to be. I think the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt on calls anyway, just because, like good teams deserve, they get the benefit of the doubt on calls. But I'm not saying that the fix is in to try and make sure they win those 3 games up until then. But the NFL, for that Christmas Day billing, does need the Chiefs fighting to keep their playoff homes alive against Bo Nix and the Broncos, like trying to sort of, prove their dominance in the AFC West. Like, that's the perfect storyline for them.
Co-pilot Sam could have came up with something a little better.
Co-pilot Sam's not recovering from the flu, That's...
But it is interesting that there is a very live possibility here that we could be looking at a AFC playoff picture without the Bills or the Chiefs, which, I mean, maybe maybe many people predicted the Chiefs wouldn't be that good this year. But to predict both the Chiefs and the Bills not making, I think would have been pretty crazy. And it's a very live chance right now that neither of them are in the playoffs. I mean, the Bills are holding on for dear life in that last wild card spot, and the Chiefs are literally fighting for their life. And one more loss, and they're pretty much officially done.
I gave co-pilot Sam the chance to better me. The Chiefs ride into Christmas Day on a 3-game winning streak, looking to keep their momentum alive in the AFC playoff race. The Broncos, eager to play spoiler, will try to cool off Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City's surging offense in a holiday showdown.
Nice. I wish there was a little more Christmas theme to it.
All right, I've asked it to add more Christmas theme, and I specifically asked it to include the phrase "ding dong." in somewhere in the
Ding dong.
the Chiefs come gift wrapped in holiday momentum, riding a 3-game win streak into Christmas Day. Ding dong, the Broncos aim to play Grinch at Arrowhead, trying to silence Kansas City's festive cheer in this holiday showdown under the lights.
Now that's good. We legitimately might hear that. If this all plays out, that legitimately might be said on NBC.
I could see who's NBC? Who are the announcers?
Collinsworth.
Collinsworth, yeah.
And Tirico.
Tirico could do that. That could be his
Tirico
introduction.
could definitely do that. All right. Anything else?
NFL related? I don't think so. I guess quick Premier League. Manchester City survived a scare, blew a 2-0 lead against Leeds, and then had a late winner. Liverpool, kind of decent performance against West Ham, who had the bizarre Paqueta reaction to being sent off. And then Arsenal, missed opportunity for them against 10 men Chelsea to first fall behind and then, equalize with whatever half an hour left and not be able to find the winner. That's one of those. I still think, Arsenal are in a very strong position within the Premier League, but that is one of those sort of key at the end of the season. You might look back on that and say, not only did we really miss the opportunity to get 2 points, but Chelsea are in the title race. I don't want to annoy listeners by saying that I now think they're going to win the Premier League, but that was a chance to kind of knock Chelsea a little bit out of it, to, kind of just create a bit of a gap and really say, like, you don't have a chance. And Chelsea, I think, will come away from that feeling like,
oh yeah,
they can go toe to toe, certainly with Arsenal and probably with anyone, especially having just beaten Barcelona convincingly midweek.
Yeah. I mean, I think Chelsea have to feel great about that. I mean, if anything, they might feel like they should have gotten all 3 points from that match, even down to 10. So, I mean, they're probably angry they didn't get to 3, but also feeling pretty good that they can play that well down a man against Arsenal. And if they can just be consistent, I think they've got a shot.
Especially still without Cole Palmer, right? That's the other element here, is they're still missing arguably their best player and arguably their most important player. So to be third in the Premier League table, having been without Palmer for such an extended period of time, is encouraging. Still, Arsenal have a 5-point lead over City, a 6-point lead over Chelsea and Villa. Like, that's a very strong position to be in. So, we'll have to see, but it doesn't feel like either of those teams, I'm not going to include Villa, but either City or Chelsea will really be able to close that gap quickly. Because I semi-hope this is a jinx, I suppose. I can't see Arsenal going on oh my God, they've lost 2 out of the last 3. They are going to lose games, but I think they'll be consistent enough where it's going to take time to close that 5-point gap. And that works in their favor, because I think the other teams will also continue to slip up a bit as well. Now, I guess moving on to briefly pop culture. So I haven't watched the last episode of The Chair Company. Okay. I did start watching The Beast in Me, the new Claire Danes show.
I finished that. Yeah.
Not bad.
I cruised through that. It's good. It's good cooking. Like, while you're cooking, put it on in the background. It's got I watched half the episodes while cooking dinners this last week.
No, yeah, it's very bingeable. It's like you're quite invested, but it's also kind of passive watching. It hits a really nice sweet spot where there's long periods where kind of nothing is happening, but you do need to sort of be paying attention because you don't know when something important will happen. So I'm on the last episode of that. So that flew through that pretty quickly. I would say worth watching.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's a good binge show. It's a good, like, mystery thriller, good acting. I think Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys are both really good in it.
I will agree. This is not the first person to say it. Slightly weird move from Claire Danes. Coming off, now Homeland was a very long time ago, but she's already played the slightly mentally deranged.
That's her thing, though. She's good at it.
She's very good at it.
She also was really good at it in the other one with Jesse Eisenberg. Was that a Steven Soderbergh one? Oh, Fleshman's, right?
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
That's it. No, Fleshman is in trouble.
Okay. Yeah, no, she does it extremely well. She has a really good, you know what I would need to congratulate her for? Because I've given some actors some criticism and some TV productions some criticism and some movies some criticism. She has a very good crying face without being gross. We don't have to see, it's not just liquid leaking out of every hole in her face. It's not disgusting, but she looks very upset and it's very convincing. Like that's what I need from an actor. I don't need to see snot pouring out of you in order to understand that you're sad or you're scared. She's got a good lip quiver. Her eyes look panicked. There's tears. They're red. Perfect. Just give me that every time. I don't need the Revenant.
She plays a very good manic.
Her eyes.
Like
she just looks.
Yeah.
I don't even know she's even playing it. Like I think
she's very good at being like manic. Like she's very good at it.
The director might be saying, just imagine it's the calmest day of your year. Someone's telling you that you're going to a birthday party. Just tell them you really want to go. And she's like, I want to go to your birthday party.
What do you mean I can't go? Yeah, she's good.
Yeah. No, it's enjoyable. She does it well. If I were casting for that type of role, she would be my first phone call. But she is a little typecast at this point.
Yeah. So you still haven't watched Pluribus? Killing me.
No, I'll get there. But it's
okay.
It's a little bit down on the.
It's the big water cooler talking show.
Well, I don't go into an office that much, and when I do, there's no water cooler. So it's just going to be me standing in a corner trying to tell people.
What do you drink?
But yeah, no, it's some decent TV. What else did I watch? Oh, you know what I did watch? Train Dreams.
Oh, how was it?
It's good. Might be one of the best movies I've watched in a while. It is.
You're welcome.
Oh, everyone should watch Train Dreams.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to watch it this weekend, and we end up just not watching it, but it's on my list for sure.
Because it's unique. You might not love it.
It's very indie.
I wouldn't say it's indie. I would say it's a real movie. It is a departure from the way that movies are made now. It's kind of unique storytelling. It's very melancholy. I think it's easy to think it's depressing. It's just a portrayal of a guy's life that doesn't go perfectly, but also doesn't go terribly. Well, it kind of does go terribly, but not completely terribly. It isn't like, look at this guy's awful life. It's, look at this guy's life. Some bad things happen, but this is just him passing through life. It's narrated, which sometimes feels a bit cheap, because I think narration can be a way of, it's of removing the need for more complete storytelling. But, yeah, it's good. I think for any of our listeners, genuinely worth watching. You might not love it afterwards. I think it's the best movie I've seen this year, or even the best movie I may have seen in the last 5 years.
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah, no, super, super good. It won't win any awards.
I know it's getting a lot of praise.
I know I will be in the minority in terms of how there's going to be a certain section of people who are. I can see why film critics would love it. It's beautifully shot.
Sean Fennessy loves it.
It's beautifully shot, and again, it's trying to go back to like real storytelling. So I can get that, like it's gonna like film critic porn to a degree. You are like, but It's really good. And Joel Edgerton's great in it. It's
Yeah,
a lot of him
I like Joel Edgerton.
He's kind of just staring at trees a lot, but he does it very, very well.
All right. Well, then we'll have to. I'll definitely. I had planned to watch it this weekend, and then just ended up not watching too much football, I think, and that just made me unhappy. So I probably should have just watched Train James.
It would give you perspective, because even if football was making you unhappy, you wouldn't be dealing with the same challenges as a man building railroad bridges in the early 20th century. I had to dispel this. It's not a cowboy Western movie.
I know, but it's not a cowboy Western movie, but it's kind of a Western movie, right? Because they're going
Not
west,
really.
aren't they?
He's not going anywhere. He's just in Idaho.
Well, he's
west.
west.
It is west, but it's very northwestern, so it has a different feel to it. He's just chopping down trees and building bridges, and it's set in 1917 and onwards. So it's not really, it's an early 20th century. It's good. It's good. It's worth watching.
Okay. Add it to the list. Well, it's already on the list, but I'll move it to the top of the queue.
My strongest recommendation too, it's a good couple movie in that I think you can get different things out of it.
Well, I showed the trailer is this a movie you want to watch tonight? And it was vetoed. So it might be not a couple movie over
Maybe
here.
Not. Okay. It might not be your couple movie. Okay. But I just mean in general terms, I would be very surprised if Carissa enjoyed the movie.
Now, is it better or worse than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? Because that's what I've got to compare it to.
Quite different.
How similar is it to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
There are clouds. Zero meatballs.
Any meatballs?
No meatballs. No.
I might be screwed.
Not a lot of eating, actually, in general. But
all right. I guess with that, we'll call it a day. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See ya.
See ya. Cheerio.